I generally don't cast a reflection either.
Yeah. Well, good morning, class. Today is Tuesday, October 6th. And yesterday I introduced R.A.C.E as a strategy to answering short or extended response questions. And today we're going to revisit the R and the A portion. And then we're actually going to introduce the C and the E. And by the end of it, we're going to put it all together and try to practice something. So I'm going to share my screen. For those of you following along on YouTube, if you would go into our Google Classroom, you will find a document entitled LHMS R.A.C.E. So be ready for that. And I will share my screen now. And today, here's what we're going to be looking at. Let me open this up a little bit. Let me get my chat just in case someone wants to say something. And let me also there it is. Come on, Omar. Oh my gosh. I just said a name, so goofy. Let's see if he can join this time. I think a first name is actually okay because that is on the state. So, all right, here we go. Let me share this screen. Welcome, OT. Welcome. I'm going to share my screen. This is what we're working on today. Working on the idea of answering short or extended response questions and doing so properly. So here we go. As you can see, I'm sharing my screen. And yesterday we talked about R.A.C.E. We introduced this whole idea and we basically went over the R and the A. For this exercise, you will complete the following questions by following the directions for each example. That's crucial. If you want to stop listening right now and try to go fill in those boxes, I suppose you could, but it would not be wise. If you follow along with me, you'll have much better ability to fill in those boxes correctly. So here we go. R is restate the question as a lead-in, as the initial portions. And then part 2, pretty important, answer the question. Part 3 is cite textual evidence. And then part 4 is E, explain how that evidence supports your answer. We will get to these last 2 sections in a minute, but for now, let's revisit the R and the A from yesterday, and let me have you use the chat feature for this particular problem right here. It says, for these first few examples, please use only the R and the A portions of the above strategy. Please restate the question, there's your R, and answer the questions below, there's your A. So here we go. The first question that I want you to use the chat feature for, copy, is how did the narrator of the Telltale Heart feel about the old man? Using the R and the A strategy, how did the narrator of the Telltale Heart feel about the old man? Don't be quick to go to the A portion, which is answer. Do me a favor and restate the question and then answer. And please use the chat feature to do this. Please use the chat feature to do this. How did the narrator of the Telltale Heart feel about the old man? Oh, great job, Ian. The way the narrator felt about the old man in the Telltale Heart that is the R portion. Great job. Great job. And now we just have to come up with the A portion. That's okay, I figured it out. The A portion for whatever you feel the answer is. So you've done a great job, Ian, as far as restating the question. Now you just have to come up with the answer portion. So the question was, how did the narrator of the Telltale Heart feel about the old man? And one way you could answer it, the narrator of Telltale Heart felt that the old man was evil because of his eye. You're very close with that, KS, and let me tell you why I say that. I don't think the old man was the issue at all, but in fact, we know that the I was the issue. So I might take your answer and change it just a little. The narrator of the Telltale Heart felt that the old man's I was evil. But we still have to say how the narrator felt about the old man. So remember the question. How did the narrator of the Telltale Heart feel about the old man? And then if you're still looking at my screen, I have what I believe to be a satisfactory answer written in there. Maybe I'll do like blue or something to really make it pop. There you go. So the narrator's feelings towards the old man were not negative, but rather positive. In fact, he said he loves the old man. The way they ever felt about the old man, Telltale Heart, was he was cool. But PN, that is a great answer. Because on the one hand, we recognize that he didn't hate the old man, but it was the I that drove him mad. That is a fair answer. So what you've done is you've restated the question in the form in your answer. You've restated the question, and then you gave the answer, which is exactly what we needed to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste my answer, which I think I stole from last period. I'm going to copy and paste this and put it into the chat feature. And that is the answer that I think I stole from a kid last period. So the narrator's feelings towards the old man were not negative, but rather positive. So let's go on to the next one. Dealing with R and A. Remember, we're dealing with restating the question as a lead-in and answering the question. Here we go. What was it about the old man that the narrator could not stand? Now, many of you just mentioned this, so this one should be rather easy when dealing with an answer. Remember, we want to restate the question. What was it about the old man that the narrator could not stand? You restate the question and then provide an answer. And put that in the chat, please. And again, if you're following along on YouTube, open that Google Doc and you'll see that the second question says, what was it about the old man that the narrator could not stand? You would fill in that box. AC says, the thing about the old man that the narrator could not stand was the cataract in his eye. Hey, guess in the old man's eye. Just point that out. In the old man's eye. AC, that's a great answer. PN, the thing that the narrator could not stand of the old man is, great job. You've restated the question. Now all you got to do there you go. Great job. That is what it should look like. AC, PN, you guys get 2 thumbs up today for your participation. So I'll straight up steal this answer that I had, that I stole from last period. And I will make it blue. Again, I will copy it and I will put it in the answer so everyone can see it. So last period, they said the narrator could not stand the old man's eye. That is absolutely correct. Now, we're going to stop right here and we're going to start thinking about what it would look like if we had to take an answer and create a question. Because I feel if you can take an answer and create a question, I think there's 2 things going on there. Number 1, the answer was given using the R and A methods strategy, and you can think clearly through this. It shows mastery of the subject matter when you can create a question from my answer. So here's how it's going to work. Congratulations, first off, if you use the R and the A portions of R.A.C.E strategy. You were successful in answering the above questions. But now we're going to flip the script. This is where it can get kind of tricky in your brain. Instead of me providing a question and you using the R and the A, I'm going to provide an answer, in which I use the R and the A, and you have to give me the question. So here we go. For this next section, please provide a question for the answer that has been given. Remember, you're giving the question. The answer was, just in case anybody is, I gave an example here. One lesson from the story, The Telltale Heart, could be how becoming obsessed with something can make us do things that we otherwise would not do. So the question to that answer might have been, what is one lesson a reader could get from the story, The Telltale Heart? So again, if the question was, what is one lesson that a reader could get from the story, The Telltale Heart? The answer could be, one lesson from the story, The Telltale Heart, could be how becoming obsessed with something can make things do otherwise would not do. So there you go. But now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. I'm going to put this in the chat. Oh, no, I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm going to put this in the chat, copy, answer, and I'm going to put answer next to it. Answer. And now I want you to tell me, what is the question? The answer is, A.C. is on it. One example of the narrator's obsessive behavior is how for 7 days the narrator would watch the old man sleep. A.C. says the question is, list one of the narrator's obsessive behaviors. A.C., that is a fantastic answer, which in this case would be the question. But I want you to know that that is exactly what I'm looking for you to do here. So I'm going to steal your response, and I'm going to put it in here. You did a great job. And I'll shore this up. That's a great job. That is a wonderful job, A.C. So if everybody sees, I gave the answer of the one example of the narrator's obsessive behavior is how for 7 days the narrator would watch the old man sleep. A.C. said the question was, list one of the narrator's obsessive behaviors. That is absolutely correct. We're going to do one more of those. Okay, here we go. The narrator used the lantern to shine a light into the bedroom and onto the old man's eye. So the answer, the answer is the narrator used a lantern to shine a light into the bedroom and onto the old man's eye. So therefore, what is the question? Oh, daggone it. I said I was going to do that privately. Man. Okay, next time, I'm not going to have them open the Google Doc, and I'm going to have them answer it privately. So, answer, the narrator...
Note on your computer.
What's that?
Put a Post-it note on your computer.
I'm on it. Open Google Doc. Do not open Google Docs. Google Classroom. Send answers privately. Oh, I love that. Then there's anonymity to it all. Ooh, that's a great job. I'll put that right there and I'll remember. PD says, why did the narrator use the lantern? The narrator used the lantern to shine the light into the bedroom and onto the old man's eye. Absolutely correct, PD. AC says, why did the narrator, what did the narrator use the lantern for? KS said, how did the narrator use the lantern? All three of those questions are absolutely correct because the answer I provided, I restated, and PN says, what was the lantern used for? Absolutely correct. You've done a great job. You four are rock stars today. You've done a great job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this time I'm going to take That's not her name. KS. I'm going to take KS's. I'm going to put it in here. Paste. Make that capitalized. How did the narrator use the lantern? Make it blue. Touch blue, make it true. Triple stamp a double stamp. And here we go. Great job. All right, now do me a favor. Shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to never forget the R and the A portions. Restate the question as a lead-in, answer the question. But now we're going to move on to the harder sections, which is the C and E portion, which is cite textual evidence and explain why that evidence supports your answer. So here we go. Follow along. Great work. Now that we're going to move on to the C and the E portions of R.A.C.E. To start, here's an example of what using this strategy will look like. Now remember, this is in your Google Classroom, so if you ever have to go back and look at it, you're more than welcome to. The question: what is one example from the story that demonstrates or shows that the narrator might not be mentally stable? So just going through this, the R portion, one example that the narrator might not be mentally stable is, my answer, that he tries to prove his sanity by stating how calmly he can retell the story of him killing an old man. Now it's going to ask me to cite textual evidence. That means I have to pull it straight from the text. What I'm about to read for you is coming straight from the text. And you'll know that because it's in quotation marks. In the text, where in the text? On line 5, the narrator states, "How then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story." The evidence or the explanation of how that citation supports my answer would be the following. This evidence shows that the narrator's desire is to use his calmness while retelling the story of killing someone as proof that he is sane. So that is my explanation of why that piece of textual evidence supports my answer. When you put it all together and take out the R.A.C.E. letters, you get this. What is one example of the story that demonstrates or shows how the narrator might not be mentally stable? The answer is here. One example that the narrator might not be mentally stable is that he tries to prove his sanity by stating how calmly he can retell the story of him killing an old man. In the text on line 5, the narrator states, "How then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the story." The evidence shows that the narrator's desire is to use his calmness while retelling a story of him killing someone is proof that he is sane. So that's my answer to that question. Now you try. Okay? And here's what I want you to do. I want you to answer this question using all 4 portions, R.A.C.E., of the R.A.C.E. strategy. Here we go. Explain one way that the narrator acted in order to hide his desire to kill the old man. Cite textual evidence in your response. One more time. Explain one way that the narrator acted in order to hide his desire to kill the old man. Cite textual evidence in your response. Do me a favor and put your answer in the chat. I'll give you like 3 or 4 minutes to do this because you're going to do R, restate the question as a lead-in, A, answer the question, and I'm sharing my screen right now. I'm actually going to I have now pulled up a page that will help you answer this question. It will allow you the opportunity to cite textual evidence and then explain why that textual evidence matters. So I'm going to set my clock for 4 minutes. Let's see if you can do R.A.C.E. and answer this question. And for you, I will stop because now you're going to go to the next one. And the answer should be given by the time that you show up. Boom.